Did you get bang for your buck today?
Well, I don't know whether we got bang for buck. And there was certainly periods of the game where we should have maximised a little bit more, but it's a work in progress. And I think some of the execution probably from both teams was a sign of early season game pressure both physically and perceived pressure probably creeps up a little bit early in the season and takes a while for the players to probably get used to more the perceived pressure than the actual physical pressure. And both teams probably felt that a little bit and didn't cash in the way they would have liked.
Did you think dash and dare, like they looked a bit more daring, particularly through the middle, and they had the footy coming out of defence?
I think when we play our best footy, that's a sign of when we're playing our best footy. And I think we work really hard over the pre-season on our contest method and making sure that we've got the right balance inside and outside. And I thought we got that right at times today. There was times when we could have, we left ourselves vulnerable with maybe some handball mistakes, which allowed West Coast to get some easy looks back the other way. So we'll look at that and tidy that up. But thought largely, our contest method was pretty good, and that allowed us to get on the outside and get those looks through the corridor. So that's it. That's a good sign. If you're getting that right, the tying it off and connection will come.
How did you rate that tonight? You got 7 goals from your big blokes. There was some great performance. Tom Emmett, it was a good forward line performance.
I think some guys will be pretty happy with their form across the whole field, not just our forwards. Like the forwards are a byproduct of what happens up the ground, and I thought, maybe earlier around stoppage we had some good balance and probably maybe mucked around a little bit more and could have got it in to our forwards a little bit quicker. But I thought our midfield balance looked pretty solid, and thought our backs held up at times in some pretty vulnerable situations. So I think there's be some guys that are probably happy with the way they're going at the moment, and I think they're pretty balanced on where they're at in the season, obviously. But in terms of the stepping stones to round one, I think we've got a fair few guys that are heading in the right direction.
How did you rate Fife's performance tonight?
I thought largely his positioning, work rate, contest work was good. Maybe there's some first gives he'd like back. But he's one of those guys that is on a build to round one, and I think he should be pretty happy, and we're pretty happy with the way he's tracking. So, there's probably a couple of areas of his game he's a little bit rusty in, but I think that's really normal for this time of the year. With him at the moment, it's making sure that he gets through the workload, and he ticked those boxes today.
That style of game that he plays, do you think that makes the people around him better because you can get that hard ball and fire off that handball? Naturally, he makes those walk a little bit taller around him when he's in that mode of winning the ball. Yep, and I thought we saw that at times today. Then there's some contests probably around the ground where he was able to be really clean and feed the outside. I think Fifey's added some layers to his own game, which complements his own game, but complements the way we play. And I don't think he's solely relying on the contest as much as maybe he used to be. So he's been able to be really diligent and work to add layers to his own game, because he can't just be the bash and crash player he used to be, because we've got other guys that can help him in that area. So we need to make sure we spread the load.
Hayden Young's moved there, and the defence, H back there, you're pretty happy with how that went?
Yeah, I actually finished the back end of the last year as a half back, and gives us something down there that's a little bit different. And I think he's been really solid. And Youngie came on, and I thought his physicality was good. I've spoken about Youngie a lot over the pre-season. He had something slightly different to our midfield with his kick and left foot, and I love how physical he is in there. So we threw him back in the third term just to maintain that. But he's put a pretty solid body of work together in the midfield.
Do you like the way your three tools work together?
Yep. Yeah, I think they took a step forward. And it's probably been a byproduct of intra clubs where you're playing two similar teams, or trying to spread the talent across two teams. Jacko hasn't had the opportunity to work with JT and Jai that much, so it was a good hit out for them. And I suppose Sean and Jacko haven't had the opportunity to work together that much either, because they've been in opposite teams. So to get that mix of tools working together was the first time we've had it, probably over the pre-season as a whole. And they'll only build from that.
Jai okay?
Yeah, Jai's okay. Yeah.
Port Adelaide next week. Do you have a plan with Fife and his build, I guess, as far as match minutes?
Oh, we'll use next week as a proper hit out towards round one. I mean, you would have noticed there's a lot of guys managed today, whether it was half time, 3/4 time. Yeah, next week we'll set them up to get a full game together.
Jeremy Sharp, does he come back for next week?
We're hoping. Yeah, he's
ill.
Yeah, he's ill, so we're hoping he bounces back pretty quickly.
Pearce, Swikacki, Fife, that was the plan.
Yeah, we planned for a half with those guys, so they all got through their minutes.
Well, Walters has had a bit of a limp, I noticed.
Yeah, he got a bit of a knock on his knee. He was due off at half time anyway, so he'll be a little bit sore. Had it happened 2 minutes later, he wouldn't have been in that position, so yeah, it's a bit unlucky.
Sorry, go on.
So just earlier when you talked about the layers to Fife's game, just curious to know what you mean by that.
Well, he's been able to get a really good body of work together with his fitness, so he's been able to really work on his transition. And some of the contests he won today were off the back of his good transition work, rather than just his stoppage work. So that's what I'm talking about.
So kind of working back into defence.
Oh, both ways. Yeah, we want him to get forward when he gets the opportunity. We want him to work back and support support the defenders when it's his turn. And he's shown over the pre-season he's become really consistent at that.
Emmett put his hand up for round one today.
It's a really tight race for our forward line roles. Sturt, Banfield, Cooper Simpson had really good pre-season. So, Tommy's last couple of weeks have been really good, and I think the first half was probably a sign of where the coaches sort of see it at the moment. But there's not much between them.
How'd Cooper go tonight, do you think?
Yeah, I thought, he was solid. A bit like what he's done all pre-season. Like the good stuff he does really stands out with his balance and poise and his ability to finish. But it was probably a bit of a step up in terms of the occasion tonight. And we'll review it and probably spend a little bit more time in the midfield as well as the game unfolded, which will be good for his fitness and contest work. Good stuff. Good on you guys.